Hey, Mike, can you hear us?
Yes.
Great. Yeah, I got you. Okay. I'll go and share it.
This.
Did you order anybody? Did you went back for a order or something?
Didn't we come back yet?
I'll go grab everybody. Anything for you, my friends? Can you grab your order?
You ever travel over? So, in that storms, it all. I think that's that. And often, it's
Excellent.
really
Yes, sir.
bad.
Thanks, man.
Sorry, I'm traveling. Yeah, that's sometimes, that's the thing, it is. It doesn't, it's not gonna be.
Handle that when you're ready.
Sure. Supervisor Davey, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Okay, everyone, I have 6:30. Let's call this meeting to order, please. Join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Prior to this meeting, we had an executive session to talk about personnel and legal matters. There is a recording device at the dais for the purposes of taking minutes. We're also streaming on Zoom, live streaming, and this session will also be stored online for further review. On to new business. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So thank you. Up at the dais here, we also have the advertisement information of advertising this meeting in the Daily Times in accordance with the township requirements. On to new business.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to bring to consideration Resolution 2026-27, authorizing application for a PA small water grant for the Sharon Stormwater Basin Repairs and Upgrades Project. Mr. Goodman, can you maybe give a little background about that project and how it relates to MS4?
Surely, the stormwater basin in Sharon is probably one of the oldest stormwater basins in the township. It was designed by ancient standards, so to speak, so it probably does not meet, or does not probably, it doesn't meet present day standards. And we can also use the retrograde of the basin to fulfill some of our MS4 requirements for DEP. So it kind of serves a two-purpose, helps protect downstream properties, helps improves the water management of the Sharon development, and also helps the township with its MS4 program.
Thank you.
I think I seconded, right?
I
You did
didn't
not.
Oh.
actually make a motion though either. I just said we're going to consider it. Do I need to make a motion?
Yeah.
Please.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-27. Authorizing application for a PA small water grant for the Sharon Stormwater Basin Repairs and Upgrades Project.
Second.
Motion made by Supervisor Dare Hennessian and seconded by Supervisor Iacono. Discussion from the board on this? From the public? All's in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
And then I would like to make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-28, authorizing to commit 15% matching funds for the PA small water grant for the Sharon Stormwater Basin Repairs and Upgrades Project.
I will second that motion.
Motion made by Supervisor Dare Hennessian and seconded by Supervisor Iacono. Discussion from the board? Or from the public? Please.
What's the match?
Could you do your name and address?
Oh, Denise Smith, 1602 Wendy Way.
Thank you. Is the microphone on? I'm sorry. Is it red?
No, should I push it?
So Supervisor Davey can hear.
He's let me push all the buttons tonight.
Yeah.
The match for this grant is $47,201.56.
Okay, it is 15%. Have you done, does anyone bother to check the math? Because it's wrong. And I'll just give you a heads up, the next one's wrong too. It's not 15%, which is what gave me, I wasn't gonna check them. And then it was 350,000 is the next one. I know I'm jumping the gun a
It's
little bit.
15% of the grant request, not of the
Of the
total
grant
project
request.
cost.
So well, I don't understand that. I'm sorry. If it's, the grant request is 267,475. Am I right? Am I reading that wrong or?
Let me see.
And 51 cents, yeah. So then 15% of that should be, Stephanie's going to tell us in a second and see if I'm right or wrong. I mean, it could be me. I'm not infallible.
Oh my gosh, I can't do it on the computer. It's like so.
No, I can't. either.
Complicated.
know,
I need to do my-
I also have a different value. I get $40,121.
That's what I got.
Yeah.
121 and
Well, the total project cost was $314,677, and 15% of that is at $267,475.
That is, I have that also.
So,
So that 15% is. the 15%
Well, there's a
listed
max,
is-
we can only ask for, um, I think there's a 200. One of these has a $250,000 max request.
I think that might be the third one, but it's
Yeah.
not this one or the next one.
Yeah, 500,000 for the Goodley one. That's the max grant request there. So it's 15% of the grant request.
Which is.
So you're
this
asking,
is
but in the
incorrect.
grant request
Yeah.
is 267,475, so. You know, you're overstating
whatever the
by
15%.
$7,000.
Yep.
15%, does that work out to be 15% of that
Yes.
47? Oh, so it's 15% of the total cost. I was wrong there. So it's 15% of the total cost of the project, which is the 47,201. And then the remaining total amount requested is the 267,475.51. So it's not incorrect.
So we have to, so the match is for the total cost of
Total
the
cost
project.
of this one,
right?
yeah. Sorry,
No
they were all a
matter-
little bit different.
No
so that's
matter
all.
what we get, because they could give us a portion of this grant. They don't have to give us.
Correct.
the
We
full
only have
amount.
to provide a 15% local match, and that match could be even another grant. So we could get another grant for that
Oh, I know that.
47,000.
You've said that many
Yeah.
times. It just doesn't make sense from a math point.
I completely understand where you're coming from. If you're asking someone to give you money and you have to match to have skin in the game, why would you be using this other value? And all I
Right,
can,
what other
It
value?
does make
well,
no
well,
sense.
if
It
the,
makes
if the
no-
limit on the grant is 267 but instead they want to see your 15% of the total amount, I can understand that this particular grant, that's a quirky, requirement that they have.
And it's even worse for the next one. I mean, it's
not sure how
18,000.
that's
So between the
quirky.
two grants, it's $25,000. It's kind of like, I just think it's weird. I don't understand why, and they can give you a smaller amount of the grant. So say this one, 267,000. Let's say they only give you 150,000. You're still obligated to give them 50% of the total cost of the project? That makes no
15.
sense.
15, well, no, I think you would be required to give them 15% of whatever you're awarded.
Right, following that logic, then that should be,
Like,
Well, we're hoping to be awarded the 267, so we're assuming max award, max match,
so max match would be,
the 47,000.
no, it should be 40,000 because it,
15% of the total project
we-
cost is
do we-
47,000.
Do we have a lawyer in the room other
No,
than me? Okay, well then it's fruitless to debate this back and forth without a legal opinion. So I don't know why we haven't figured this out by now. If we have a special meeting,
I
and we-
asked Madron to review the match commitment portion to make sure we were requesting the right match amount. And he kept all things the same when he resent the revised agenda
Okay.
or revised
Well,
resolutions back.
that may be true, but you know, as a lawyer, me personally, plus knowing others, I know sometimes math isn't our strongest suit. So I just want to know, are we legally required, number one, to do a numerical sum certain tonight as opposed to committing to a percentage? And to what legal requirement do we have to commit a percentage of, the grant amount or the project amount? Because I agree, it doesn't make sense why we would be committing to 50% of a project amount that they're not going to be fully financing. So unless we have a concrete answer on that, I think this action is premature.
Well, this would be the max amount we would have to commit if we were to get the full project cost that and get awarded the 267. This is the max commitment, 15% of the total project cost. So if anything, you know, if they only award us $100,000, we only have to commit 15% of that, then
But
it's less.
but that's not what the motion is saying. The motion is saying you're committing 15% and it's identifying a sum certain. I mean, am I wrong? Because we're fighting over
I mean,
math.
the resolution identifies the sum certain.
Then why are we identifying a sum certain? Why wouldn't we just say a percentage?
Okay, so we can amend it to say a 15% match.
When I read, first off, Supervisor Davey, I agree with you, right? And maybe you too, Supervisor Iacono. I don't know that the dollar amount matters as much as the percentage. But when I read the second paragraph, it says the local investment will bring the total to 314. And if I add 267, 475 to 47201, I get this number. So I don't know if that 47201 was taken out of the top number. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm
It
just,
was, here's the,
right.
that's cost estimate.
Yeah. For what it's worth. The way it's worded is the 267 plus the 47 equals 314, and all of that seems to match.
I'm pulling open the instructions to see if they are. An eligible
Yeah.
applicant shall provide matching funds of not less than 15% of the total eligible project costs.
Yes.
So what's the definition of eligible project costs? The amount they're giving us, or the amount that they're going to approve? That
Eligible
is,
projects,
well, the word eligible in there is throwing me off. Because
eligible
if
projects
we're-
are those which have a total project cost of not less than 30,000 and not more than 500,000 and involve the construction, improvement, expansion, repair, or rehabilitation of a water supply system, sanitary sewer system, storm sewer system, or flood control projects that are owned and maintained by the eligible applicant.
Yeah. And the document that the
Matt has, yeah.
Supervisor Iacono shared that
That's from
was,
Matt.
yeah, it was from Mr. Hoodman. It's showing a total project cost. And then 15% off of that as the township contribution, and the balance, the 85%, being the requested grant amount. That's the way this document, this estimate shows. So I don't know that there's anything untrue about
That's how we've
this.
done it every time we've done these in the past. I mean, this is the same format we've used, just updated the totals because Matt updated his cost estimates. So 15%, if we got the full match, the worst case we would have to put out would be 47,000. If anything, it would be less. So I don't think there's anything wrong with the language.
Right. Oh, I just happen to agree with the resident that it's probably the way we position it's confusing.
Thank you.
Because you would expect we're showing the total project amount and then
Yeah,
breaking it
it just
down.
doesn't make sense. And I do have an accounting background, so it doesn't make sense. This is, go on, Matt.
No, according to the documentation that accompanies the grant, it does make sense. Take the total project cost, and then the township's responsibility is 15% of that, and the remainder would be the grant amount.
But it's
fair.
at 80, I don't have Stephanie, is
correct.
85%?
Yeah.
247, 267.
267 was, is 85%, or no, 315,
85% of 315 is
Is
267.
267. It just doesn't really make sense. And then it's even worse for the next one, because it's the same thing, but the third one is spot on. So I don't know where, there seems to be something wrong. So I don't know. You guys make your, guys can decide between, I just wanted to bring it up.
Diane, this is what happens when the government does math.
I guess, yeah. Just one other question. Did we pay $5,000 or some fee to have this grant written?
I
Okay, 'cause
did
they
it.
should be fired. But anyway, but no, for all three, no?
No, we did not. We did all the work.
Okay, I brought up what I wanted to bring on my way over. You guys talked to, so.
Yeah.
I guess this, you can figure out what you want to do. I just wanted to bring it up.
Thanks.
James McDaniel, 1415 Zebby Road East, Plainmont Side Junkyard. Once again, spending tax money. You don't have a solicitor here. All the times we pay for the guy, and there's probably a legit reason. I don't think the meeting should continue without a lawyer here. You got one on board up there. I don't know what his opinion is on this, but you're spending taxpayers' money. I don't think anybody understands this. You're making decisions tonight without a solicitor here to go over this? That makes sense to me.
Well, he reviewed these
It
agreements.
don't matter, he's
so-
not here. I wouldn't go in a courtroom without a lawyer. I wouldn't say, oh, he's not here. Or he looked over my case. Same thing here. You're spending tax money without a solicitor here. And the numbers, there's already an issue with the first one, second one, and it's gonna probably get worse as you get on the page. You ought to just stop the meeting and just own up to it, that you shouldn't have had it tonight without a solicitor here. That's simple math. But you will do what you want to do. And I'm probably running close to my 3.5 minutes, but police guy ain't here tonight.
Thank you. Is there any other comments on this? Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, the next resolution is for the Goodley Road Culvert Replacement Project. The next two resolutions, I should say. I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-29, authorizing an application for the DCED flood mitigation grant for the Goodley Road Culvert Replacement Project.
Second.
Motion made by Supervisor Iacono and seconded by Supervisor Derhinessian. Discussion from the board.
Are we sure the math's on this one?
Yeah, so this one had the max, the actual project cost is greater than the allowable grant request. So do you want to double check that 500,000? We had a 93 match.
Yeah, we're not,
That's the next
the next item, but I understand what Supervisor Dave is asking as well.
It's not.
Sure.
I think that one went off your 620.
This is a,
Oh, I know why so this one's a little bit different. So total project cost on this one is $620,595. We can only request 500,000 for the grant. So there's $93,089.25. So the way the agenda is worded, or the way the resolution is worded, the next resolution, not this one, is the difference in the total project cost versus the grant request. So that we say the township is prepared to contribute 93,000 from its capital budget or other funding sources to meet the required 15% match. That's why it's not quite the 15%, because that 93,000 gets you to our full project cost.
okay. Yeah, I think somebody was just wondering why these are separate. So the first item is whether we want to engage
Make the
in
application.
pursuing a grant application. And the second item is if there's a commitment, a financial commitment from the township.
Sure, sure.
I'm trying to process.
Not a problem. Total project cost for the culvert is $620,595.
So we can only ask for.
500,000.
So 120, not 595.
Just for the purposes of
Yeah, yeah,
record,
yeah, okay.
just so that we can get you on there. Thank you.
I could get my phone out. I could
Trying to do
easily do.
John
that.
Nevy, Sam, 3213 Salem Farm. Okay,
Is that right? 93 is the difference
so it's
between,
one,
right?
now we have to commit. Now, the grant says we have to commit 15% of the total at least 15% of the total project cost, correct?
It says 15% of
Because the total project cost would be the 690.
total eligible project cost. Yeah, not more than 500,000. So in theory, you could say that this is, you could do an actual 15% on this and say less, but that wouldn't be enough to get the project completed. So the way I worded it was that we would commit enough to get the project completed.
It's 15 times 5. So that's 75, we would have to, 15% would be 75 match on the 500 plus the 120 delta that we would need to,
Not
So-
plus.
yes, because you still have to cover the total project. We're on the hook for anything, the remainder above the
120,
500.
yeah, so 120 is the overage.
The overage. So we have 120 we'd have to cover plus 15% of the 500 that they would give us.
That may be the overall township
93. So it's
commitment.
not,
So
no,
about a $200,000 commit.
15% of the 620,000 is 93,000. That's what the number comes from.
But he's talking.
No, but they won't, you have to match 15% of what they're giving.
Right,
We also have, that means there's a delta that we still need to cover of 120.
Correct.
100, so that means we're looking at 195, roughly 195,000 in total commitment here.
No, not necessarily.
no,
And let me-
120,000 would be the full, if we got the max 500,000 award, the additional cost would be 120,000.
15%.
15% is what's required for the grant match. Doesn't mean they're gonna, like, again, if the project costs more than 500,000, they're not gonna give you more than $500,000.
Yeah,
And isn't the 15% of 500,000?
Yeah.
All right.
So in order to qualify for the grant, they're looking for 15% of the eligible. That $120,000 delta may very well be a township financial commitment,
I think.
but not
that-
required in terms of.
Yeah, but I think that's the question
I
mark.
think we
is
could
does that-
change this
Does
to
that,
be,
does that 120, can we double count, can that 120 count as part of the 15%?
Yes.
Or is
Yes.
it that 15% of
Yes.
500
No.
plus the overage?
no, the 120 can count as part of the 15%.
Okay, because then that means that that would count as our,
But we
We-
could change this to be
We
the
have
7.
we have to publicly commit to spend at least 15%
Correct.
of the total cost. Whether we actually wind up spending more than that is unknown because we could get other financial sources to cover the rest of that 120 delta. But we
Correct.
have to commit to spending at least 15 out of the township coffers.
But I think maybe for this one, which is I think what we did for the next one, 15% of the 500,000, not 15% of the total project cost.
Well, that depends on what it says, but that's not, right now, the next resolution is 15% of the total cost.
Right. The total
So-
grant, yeah.
No, the total cost of the project, because 15% of 500,000 isn't 93.
No, that's what I'm saying, that maybe that 93 number needs to be just the 15%.
Well, I don't know. Should have been a question we figured out before tonight.
my reading, again, hearing how you were phrasing it, my instinct is that it's 15% of the total. Even though they're only going to give you up to 500, we need to commit at least 15% of the total project cost. Is what I understood, is how I heard, is how I interpreted what they were writing, which would mean it'd be the 93-ish, at least 93. Now, the 120 would consider, obviously, we're above that at that point if we're committing, if we're committing to cover the rest of it. But just that's where I would come in, probably given the confusion, it'd be better to err on the side of that caution with the.
Could you repeat that last?
It would be better to err on the side of conservative caution in terms of we may be required to have up to the 93, since that's what we expect the overall project cost to be.
Which is what the.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand.
I think it only has to be based off of the actual grant award. But,
Again,
I think
instead of thinking and guessing, we should have had this nailed down before
well,
tonight.
I mean, our solicitor reviewed it. He didn't have any comments, so I don't know what else to do other than that. He had a commitment tonight that he couldn't be here. So. That's how much it would cost. Even if we got the 500,000, that's how much we would have to pay to get the project completed. Again, I don't think it's not gonna be any more than that number unless the bid cost goes up, but I would say we consider the motion as is, and
Okay, well,
Continue
before we
on.
get to that point,
that's the second motion
right,
anyway.
yeah, if, as a point of order, if we can just focus on this phase of it. I believe we have a motion and a second. We've had some discussions. The other question I'd had about this is for Mr. Hoopman, does this project also count towards our MS4 improvements?
It does not.
It does not.
No, this-
Okay.
This is to alleviate the flooding on Goodley Road, which happens quite frequently, which interrupts emergency vehicle access to parts of the township. So it's one culvert that we consistently have problems with overflowing.
And it's deteriorating in
And it's
general.
deteriorating.
So I'm going to take a vote on item C and then we can discuss item D. So all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, I make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-30, authorizing to commit 15% matching funds for the DCED flood mitigation grant for the Goodley Road culvert replacement project.
Second.
Motion made by Supervisor Iacono and seconded by Supervisor Derrenessian. So, you know, in this element and listening to what Supervisor Davy says, does this have merit? Because are we permitted to, I guess we're not permitted to actually submit the grant application without this.
The grant application doesn't require a resolution for the match commitment. It just requires a letter. So we tend to do a match commitment. I don't, again.
Then
don't
I
think
would
there's-
table it.
Yeah,
Can't,
that's what I'm asking.
I
Can we-
can't table it because the grant is due.
I didn't say table the grant. The grant just got approved. I said table the commitment.
Yeah,
And just what, do a retroactive at next month's meeting?
yeah,
If it's.
that's what I'm
well,
asking. If that's
Because
possible.
the grant is due on Sunday. The
do we-
31st.
Do we need a publicly approved commitment in order to submit the grant?
No,
Then submit the
I
grant,
need-
table the commitment, and we'll come back to it once we know that we have our numbers right.
I just need I need to provide a proof of match commitment, a letter of match commitment.
Well,
Doesn't have to be a resolution per se.
well, I don't think we can do one without the other. I don't think we can publicly and exclusively commit to funding grant money without a public action. So I would simply then make a motion or suggest a resolution that says that we will commit to providing whatever matching funds are required pursuant to the terms and conditions of the grant.
Okay. 15%. So
Oh,
revise the,
no, whatever's the terms and conditions of the grant are. And then we work out the intricacies later on and formally approve the dollars and cents at a subsequent meeting. But for purposes of getting a letter out, we can commit to complying with the grant obligations.
I don't take any objection to that.
okay. So I will talk to Madron tomorrow and see how he wants to change the language, I guess. Because you can't sign that resolution the way it is. You have to probably just change that last sentence in there.
But I don't know that we need a resolution at this point to get a.
So what, just put a letter together and have
So
Chuck
I-
sign it?
So I think here, I'll make a motion that the Board of Supervisors and townships send a commitment letter with the grant application committing to comply with any required grant match requirements under the terms and conditions of the grant.
Okay, I'll second that motion.
Motion made by Supervisor Davy, seconded by Supervisor Iacono. Discussion on this motion from the board, from the public. All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And I guess, yeah, correct. The action is then something like this will come up in a subsequent meeting with the,
If we're not required to provide a resolution, I guess the question is, do we need to make another motion at another meeting for another resolution? Like, we're providing a resolution that's going to say,
Sure.
we're going to meet the commitment required as per grant, terms and conditions of the grant.
I
So,
think
I think
my,
that's it.
my individual preference is to create documents like this because it does allow the public to see the actual dollar beyond just the percentage of the commitment.
I think we do have to have a public approval of a specific dollar and cents amount at a later time when it's appropriate to make that expenditure. But
I guess
we don't have
if
to make a dollar and cents appropriation right now. If all we're required to do is commit to matching whatever the grant says we have to match, if we get it.
Okay.
And
So if we get it, then we'll do the match. We can come up with whatever that required match number is at that point.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. That
and
works.
that may not need to be a resolution then. It might just be an
It'll be a
agenda-
budgetary or agenda item,
agenda
yeah.
item.
We won't find out about this until next year anyway. So,
Okay.
and this actually, I should state, and I think I said this at the last meeting, but we did submit a bunch of documentation to Senator Fetterman's office and Congresswoman Scanlon's office for consideration in their appropriations, and the project was selected. So it has a good chance of receiving some additional funding through those means.
Yeah,
Guess you could
through
say.
their funds,
Yeah.
their funding sources.
And we won't find out about that until probably the end of the year either, so.
Okay, thank you. On to item E, I make a motion for the adoption of resolution 2026-31, authorizing Bethel Township to apply for funding through the Greenways, Trails and Recreation Program for the creation of a passive park at Schaefer Preserve located at 1657 Bethel Road, Garnet Valley, Pennsylvania.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made and seconded by Supervisor Iacono. Discussion from the board on this? Discussion from the public on this, please. Mhm.
Trish Sites, 1670 Wisteria Way. What is a passive park?
A passive park is a park that doesn't have ball fields or stadiums. You're not barbecuing, you can't camp. There's no kayaking, things like that. So walking, running, bird watching, frisbee, and I don't know if you've seen any of the renderings for Schaefer, but there's not a lot of grass areas in general, really just around the trails. So it's there's a little bit, but
Not a lot of grass areas.
not a lot of turf for like, there's meadow areas,
Yeah, okay.
but you're not going to be playing like football in this park.
And who stops someone from bringing a barbecue in there?
Well, I would say it would get reported and then the police would stop them, similar to our parks now. If someone were trying to, tailgate pretty heavy and be disruptive, and it'd be.
Okay, thank you.
reported. You got it. Dr. Addison, did you need something?
I think he might have called Mike.
I think they probably had a problem that we didn't
Excuse me, Mr.
finish
Chairman,
it.
can we have just a brief recess for a minute to talk to the solicitor on the speakerphone? Thanks.
Yes.
Sure, take a.
If we could please take a 5-minute recess.
Thank you.
We look to get back at what I have as 7:07 PM.
Thank you.
Supervisor Davy, are you also on this call with Madron?
I am not. I'm in
Okay,
the-
well, can we get you on, I don't know if you're on your cell phone now, but can we call you in on your cell phone?
I'm on my cell phone now and might be difficult for me to get on.
Okay, all right, give me a second.
You want to use, for example, there is some Home Depot flyers, if you spend $300 you do this. Never been my first tax.
But I think, if you want to, I think that when they figure this out, the children will not figure out something that they tell us, that we thought they could do. Because. What happens? Then nothing happens, I guess. Mhm. Yeah. They might do that, I mean, that's something they might do, like, as far as. Or not. That.
You're not.
Yeah, I mean, so they can apply for this stuff, and I'm relieved to know I didn't spend $5,000 training, and actually, it was But no, potential like me, if that usually like this, have someone to get some service. But she says that, you know, these are all kind of existing grants we had before, so they probably kind of had some work, so. It was probably unnecessary to shape He said, I said all three, because I'm pretty thinking three, right, they said no, to all three, that there was no $5,000. I'm saying that they applied for it's for gold is before. Oh, probably didn't want to.
Supervisor Davy, can you hear me?
I'm not sure.
Hey, Mike, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like they were just getting clarification from Mr. Madron on whether or not we had to have make a motion to amend the agenda. And the determination was we do not, because we're not changing any of the language on the agenda. That's, I think, what they were just getting clarification on. Well, we're going to be amending articles later, but not the actual agenda items.
Okay.
They're still wrapping up. I think it'll be another minute.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right now, Paul Road, by school, Saturday to me. Yeah. Oh, what's all that? You're sorry. Great. Sorry.
I'm going to call the meeting back in session. I think some of you probably had overheard what our discussion was. As I was speaking to Supervisor Davy, but we were just getting clarification on whether or not a motion was required to make an amendment to the agenda. And the determination was it's not required because we're not changing the agenda items. Is there any other context that I missed from that
No,
conversation?
and just so Supervisor Davies aware, our solicitor agreed he could just update the resolution to say that we'll comply with terms and conditions of the grant.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I believe I had made a motion and received a second for item E. And we were at the precipice of having discussion from the board.
We got some public comment, but I think,
I don't believe you do.
oh, we did, well, we did. We started to get public comment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's okay. I appreciate you guys listening to me, so I just about this thing, when you guys do figure this out or whatever and come to some, and hopefully it's sooner, if you could announce it at the next supervisor meeting or the next one after that, so we know for sure what is our, what are we promising to pay, what is our 15, if we could just get some
Yeah, Mr. Madron
clarification on
seems
that.
to
I'm sure you
think
wanted to.
he seems to think it's of the maximum grant award, not of the total project costs, but he said he was
Right,
gonna look into it.
But it's
so.
written what Matt said.
So,
That's how it's written. so
It's probably
whatever.
subjective for a reason.
So guys, look into it and then, let
Yep.
us know. That's all. I think
Okay.
it's a fair ask. So, now back to a couple questions. So this Schaefer thing, have you heard from Noel? What's going on with the plans? And oh, by the way, the plans on the website aren't working. It
I
says
found that out
error.
today, actually, because I
Yeah,
went
and
to
it's
click
been
on
like
them.
that
None of those links on the
for a
on the
while,
website
right.
are working.
Yeah, we've got some feedback from them. They want us to investigate potentially relocating the parking areas
And
with
driveway.
and the driveway within the unrestricted area. That's what they want us to
Uh-huh.
investigate.
So
So
did they have, well, all right, was that all they had to say? I mean, 'cause-
They haven't formally brought the plans to their board yet because we haven't finalized that plan yet. So once we get to a point where we are pretty close to a final design, it will go to them, they will review it and provide any additional feedback. They've seen the drafts, they've seen what Chester Valley has presented to the public,
Mhm.
and that's what they based their comments off
Their
of.
comments off of. And so you're gonna submit for the grant and you don't really have Nolt's approval or no approval yet. So it just seems like it's the hard horse.
Well, the grant
before
is
the
just
cart.
for funding, it's not, they don't even
Right,
get,
true.
we don't,
Okay, yeah.
you know, they don't necessarily need a final plan to approve as part of the grant.
but if I may, if I'm understanding your concern, if there's a potential for like a cart before the horse, like we got funding
Mhm.
in line before we got null approval is what, I guess what you're getting at.
Well, what I'm thinking is if Nolt comes through and says, you can't have 3 retention ponds and dig up all this soil, which honestly is what the paperwork says right now. It says you can't really make these changes that you guys are proposing. And then but you're submitting these plans to get these grants, like at some point, does this become a conflict of some sort?
So what
Can they
happens is,
ask for their money back and say, you guys are way off?
no, so what happens is we submit, so what we'll be submitting is the plans that was presented at December's meeting as part of the grant application. If we were to be awarded, like we have that one grant award that we've already received, we meet with the grant rep, we go through the plans, and they say, everything's good, but if you make changes, we need to review it again to make sure you're still in compliance with
Right.
grant terms. So that's what happens. So if we were to get this award and the plans change from what we've submitted,
Yes.
they'll just re-review it and make sure there's not anything substantial.
And they will re-review it. They won't just revoke it.
Unless you're, I mean, they would, I guess anything's possible, but they could
Okay.
revoke it, I guess, if you're not proposing a park. If you're taking it from a park to put a warehouse there, they're not gonna give you the grant money, but
Well, yeah, but I mean, these are pretty.
what they like look for the
changes.
grants is like the ADA accessibility.
Uh-huh.
That's the biggest thing. So when we go over that with them, they're always like, you have the handicap parking spaces.
Yeah.
Is the trail sloped adequately that it's accessible? Those are the types of things they look for, not so
Right.
much like how much of this or how much of that, or it's a kind of a overall review, but that's a big thing for them is the accessibility.
And then who's ultimately responsible for getting Nolt's approval? Is it
It's
the
the township.
township or not the engineers?
No.
Okay, and did you ever pay Nolt the $30,000?
We have not.
They never asked for it and we.
They
never
have
did?
not formally started any review process, so.
Okay, Lindsay submitting with grants, so.
And we may not need to expend that money if we are not amending the easement.
If you're not, well, oh, yeah, true, that's true.
So if we have to move the parking,
Right,
we don't have to amend the easement.
right.
We don't have to spend that money to null.
Okay, so it's not that I don't believe you guys, but I am gonna submit a right to know request forms about some of this stuff for Shaker and things like that, and I don't know who wants it. But I'm officially giving it to you.
You have to send it.
I had to send it before I used to drop it off, and now you have the thing.
According to the Office of Voter Records, you have to send an email to the right to know officer.
Because, by email, so I should copy this on email, because actually I've read on a couple websites, they recommend this, what I just did. Believe it
To
or
bring
not.
it to,
So what?
Just
to bring it to
shoot,
me.
you're the right to know officer, right? Or Jackie. So just shoot the email over and we'll, okay,
So
we'll
I
have.
want this in an email,
Send it to us in email. so we
and,
can upload the
just make
email.
and connect these with that.
I would say you have a date and time when you submitted it, and then we would have a date and time when we received it, and then we will give you a response letter in 5 days.
So she'll extend to 30 and all.
Eventually, possible, yes. Yes, depending on the substance of that, and then you have 30 days to respond.
Okay, because before you used to do a stamp, I used to walk it in and do a stamp for it, so.
Things have changed to the office of the records.
Okay, I can do that. That's not a problem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll send it tomorrow. And then you can read it then. Okay, let me just look at this real quick. I think I'm about done, but,
If you don't, yeah, we'll go through this. This is just the first piece and then there'll be another opportunity at F. You got it. Any other comments from the public?
I can check that, because it says right here, you could accept these requests that up.
Our policy has been in the township, we're doing everything electronic. That's what we've been doing for about 2 years.
But if someone doesn't have a computer. Right, or some people that's not on a computer. I mean, you can't know that's really legal that you make that only electronic. Just.
Okay. We're on item E. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No.
Motion carries. On to item F. So this is, and was the recommendation from Mr. Madron to follow suit here?
Yeah, to do the same thing, that the resolution would be be consistent, provide a match commitment consistent with the terms and conditions of the grant.
Right. So I make a motion for resolution 2026-32, committing matching funds for the 2026 Greenways, Trails and Recreation Program grant application for the creation of a passive park at Schaefer Preserve located at 1657 Bethel Road, Garnet Valley, Pennsylvania, where the match is consistent with the terms and conditions of the grant itself.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded by Supervisor Iacono. Discussion from the board on this. Discussion from the public on this, please.
First site, 1670 Wisteria Way. We talked about the amounts, money, on the first 4 items. On this, we talked about no money.
Okay. What is shown is a grant for $250,000, I believe.
That's the max, yeah, the max award for this grant would be $250,000.
Which would mean our max commitment would be, is it 37.5?
37.5 is 15%.
37,500.
If it's based on max grant award, yes.
Okay, thank you.
You got it. Any other questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Motion carries. On to old business. I think this has been discussed for a while now. But in last month's board of supervisors meeting, we'd finally gotten approval. We had a cost estimate. Mr. Hoopman put something together that was better than what others had put together. And what you'd find in the packet is an estimate that's slightly under $6,000. I think Mr. Hoopman's recommendation was to raise the amount to $7,000 as a contingency for fluctuation of material costs and things like that. So with that, I make a motion to approve the purchase of materials for and other associated costs for replacing the boardwalk sections of the walking path at Jack King Park, the crushed stone cinder path, an amount not to exceed $7,000.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by Supervisor Darren Nessian. The only other context I think I would add is in the budget, we were carrying $10,000 for this based on the previous year when we started going through the permitting process. And so it's pretty consistent where with the amount of work that we expected to do. The labor is anticipated to be done in-house by our hubby.
Question. So crushed stone is not the rest of the trail is all asphalt.
Correct.
And are we going to try and pave this portion at some point? Because honestly, the crushed stone becomes a maintenance nightmare.
Correct. So we knew if we were to add like 3-inch asphalt as part of this project, it would probably go over the allocation. Or could potentially go over the overall allocation. And we had hoped that once we get our paving contractor identified for the road program,
And try
there
and
might be an
estimate.
opportunity to solicit and add alternate to do this little piece of work. Am I saying that correct?
Yes, and if I may add, I think there was a consensus that we're going to have to resurface the parking lot at Jack King Park. Not this year, but maybe in the next year, at next year's budget. So that would be the opportune time when you had all the equipment right at the park to pave those short sections that will be stone surfaced for now.
Yeah.
So possibly this year, but possibly not. Do we maybe get a price from and just see where?
Yeah, we can still inquire this year. And then I think if the park is slated to be paved next year, that would be the fallback.
That's all I have.
Any other questions from the board? From the public? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to announcements.
Stefan.
As a reminder, Bethel Township Parks and Recreation will be hosting dinner and a movie night on Friday, May 29th. That's tomorrow at 7:30 at Bethel Springs Elementary School.
Thank you. We'll take any other public comment this time.